Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So more payments are going to be going out today for those on Social Security. Right on average, those are going to be right around $1,800. So we're going to be discussing who is getting those payments and then also looking at the rest of the payment schedule for the month of June. Also, with it being very possible that unfortunately Social Security cuts may end up happening within the next decade, we're going to be going over an article in which they explain 3 different ways in which we can begin preparing right now. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so according to various experts and of course different projections, whether it be from the Congressional Budget Office or the Social Security Trustees report, they are saying that right now, unfortunately, if nothing is done about how the Social Security is set up, whether it is collecting more taxes for the trust fund or cutting benefits or anything like that, making people delay claiming retirement benefits, unfortunately, this program could go insolvent. Now, payments would still be going out on a monthly basis, but what would happen is there would be an automatic cut of anywhere between 20 to 25%, and probably closer to that 25% number. So what that means is for every $100 that you collect, instead of receiving the full $100, you would actually only be collecting $75. So if you're receiving an average amount of $1,000 per month, and let's say like 2033, then instead of receiving the full $1,000, you'd actually only be receiving $750. So they have to do something about this in order to fix it. They have to either raise taxes on Americans to collect more money into the trust fund, make people delay receiving benefits, or send less benefits out. It has to be one of those 3 things. Now, we do have a few different plans, but if none of these plans actually pass or end up working, unfortunately, we are going to have a benefit cut. So we do have this article here from the Motley Fool, and they say, worried about Social Security cuts? 3 moves to make right now. So the first way they can say is to start beefing up your savings. So perhaps the best way to reduce your dependency on Social Security is to save more in your retirement fund. While that's often easier said than done, even relatively small amounts can go a long way when you invest. For example, say you can afford to boost your savings by $300 per month and your investments are earning a modest 7% average annual return. At that rate, you would accumulate close to $50,000 within just 10 years. The average retiree collects around $22,000 per year from Social Security, so an extra $50,000 in savings can make up more than 2 years worth of benefits. Now, not everyone has enough money left over from their Social Security check to save or invest. So if that's not you, let's go ahead and move on to the second one. They say to aim for a bigger benefit amount. So if it's not possible to invest more per month, you might be able to increase the size of your monthly payments. The SSA calculates your benefits by taking an average of your income throughout the 35 highest earning years of your career. That number is then adjusted for inflation, and the result is your basic benefit amount, or the amount you'll collect at your full retirement age. So they're saying basically there you need to work for at least 35 years and have the highest earnings possible to receive a higher amount. Now, not everyone is going to possibly be able to do this. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and move on to the third way. So the third way is to consider delaying benefits. So one of the most dramatic ways to increase your monthly payments is to hold off on filing for Social Security. Your basic benefit amount is how much you'll collect at your FRA, which is age 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. By filing as early as possible at 62, your benefits will be permanently reduced by up to 30%. But if you delay benefits up until age 70, you'll receive your basic benefit amount plus a bonus of at least 24% per month. That might not sound like much, but it can add up substantially. Now, of course, there are also drawbacks of waiting all the way until the age of 70. So even though you will receive a higher amount, you also have to look at the average life expectancy for Americans. And if let's say if you only live until the age of 77, not something we really necessarily want to think about. But if we only live until the age of 77, obviously you're going to receive more benefits over your lifetime collecting them at your full retirement age of 67 as opposed until waiting until the age of 70. But of course, that's a separate conversation you should definitely be having with your financial retirement planner. And of course, we really don't want any of this to happen at all. And right now, thankfully, there are various lawmakers coming up with different fixes to make sure that Social Security doesn't go insolvent. So for example, we have a plan by Bill Cassidy and Angus King. This is bipartisan, so this plan probably has the best chance of passing. Let's hope that they do get something done in the end. And we're going to be playing a quick clip here where Cassidy actually talks about the Social Security solvency issue and why it's so extremely important that they end up getting something done. Watch.
Social Security, another important issue, Senator. I want to talk to you about some reform. You say Social Security will be insolvent in 8 to 9 years if no action is taken. And you also say neither President Biden or former President Trump has done anything about Social Security. What do you think needs to happen to hold the current administration and past administrations accountable? And what do you want to see happen now?
First, it's not me saying it's going insolvent, it's the actuaries. 8 to 9 years, boom, the trust fund is busted, empty, and everyone receiving Social will get a 24% cut in their Social Security check. You're not grandfathered in. One day you get $100, next day you get 75. I'm just using that as an example.
Okay.
And so what we need is a leader who's willing to lead. Currently, President Biden, former President Trump are both telling the American people, no harm, nothing to worry about, we don't really need a plan. And because of that, the American people have been kind of lulled into complacency. I've worked with colleagues. We've come up with what we call a big idea. We don't raise taxes on seniors. We don't cut benefits for seniors, but we take care of 75% of the problem. We also do other things that are positive for work incentives, for decreasing poverty among the elderly. We need a leader or someone who wants to be our nation's leader to honestly confront the problem, tell the American people what she or he is going to do, and then work to do it.
And because you've seen a lack of action, you said that should disqualify both President Biden and the former president from holding office. Do you still stand by that?
I do. If the program goes insolvent, as it's scheduled to do, poverty among the elderly will double. There will be people choosing between medicine, food, and rent. This is going to be an existential issue for many seniors. And yet we have two folks, leading presidential candidates, who want to lead our nation, who are not taking leadership on the issue that is most important for many seniors. 2/5 of boomers, the only retirement plan they have is Social Security. And if they do nothing, it's cut by 24%. That should be the issue they're talking about.
So he mentions here that for 40% of baby boomers, their only retirement plan is Social Security. They don't have extra savings sitting around. They don't have like an IRA or any type of retirement account. They don't have a 401k that will hold themselves over. So if we get to the point where we have to reduce benefits by 25% for 40% of retirees, for 40% of baby boomers, that is really, really going to hurt them. We need to make sure that full benefits continue to be sent out. And of course, also, I mean, people are going to have to decide whether they want to use their Social Security check on food, on rent or their mortgage payment, or on medicine. If they're not receiving enough money, which I mean, already they're not receiving enough money, that's why we're having different bills to actually raise benefits. But if we actually have a cut in benefits by 25%, that's going to be absolutely devastating. We're going to have poverty among the elderly double, as he mentions here. This is something that we do not want to happen. This is something that we're not prepared for. And unfortunately, this is only 10 years away, which may seem like a long ways away, but trust me, and you probably know this yourself, 10 years goes by a lot quicker than what we think. So we definitely need to make sure that we get something done, and let's hope that they do. Now, speaking of Social Security payments, of course, we have more payments going out today for certain beneficiaries. These payments are going to be going to those with birthdays between the 11th and 20th of the month. So according to the Washington Examiner, direct payment worth up to $4,555 goes out to millions in one day. Now, $4,555 is actually the maximum payment. And right on average, these payments are going to be right around $1,800 for most retirees. So once again, according to the Washington Examiner, Retirees will receive the second of 3 Social Security retirement payments for June, worth up to $4,555 tomorrow, according to the Social Security Administration schedule. The second round of payments will be sent on June 21st, the third Wednesday of the month. The payment will go to recipients born between the 11th and 20th of a month. The monthly payments are dispersed on the second, third, and fourth Wednesday of each month. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and look at the payment schedule up on the screen from the Social Security Administration. So once again, today on the 21st, those payments are going to be going out to those with birthdays on the 11th through 20th of each month. And then, of course, next Wednesday, we're going to have more payments going out on June 28th. Those are going to be going to those with birthdays falling between the 21st and 31st of each month. And then the final payment on June is actually going to be going to SSI recipients. That's going to be on June 30th. Now, the only reason the SSI recipients are actually going to be receiving 2 payments in the month of June is the fact that July 1st falls on a Saturday. And anytime the first of a month falls on a Saturday, a Sunday, or a holiday, you're actually going to be getting that 1 business day earlier. So that's why you're going to be receiving your July payment a little bit earlier in June. And then in July, you're not going to be receiving any type of payment at all. That's going to be for SSI recipients. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.